Hey guys, it's Nuke here. Let me know if you guys can hear me. If anyone's already in the chat, give me a one if you guys can hear me. So want to do a quick nuclear reaction, kind of a reaction video to uh something that really could be a good lesson for you guys in terms of understanding yourself mostly and understanding women, but mostly yourself. We'll get right into it. So maybe a couple of you guys have heard of what Occam's razor is. Occam's razor is basically it's a mental model or problem-solving principle. Explanation is usually the most accurate. So if two trees are in the forest, right, and they fall at the same time or something, um, it is simpler to just say, hey, the wind blew them down, and it's more useful to just say, hey, the wind blew them down rather than say, hey, a meteor came or a bear put like a more complicated, complex scenario. And it really it serves to um, it serves to kind of look at the pragmatism of problems and not to like overthink or over romanticize or overcomplicate something, right? Humans have different reasons to overcomplicate things, right? They want to kind of have an opportunity to show their intelligence, to signal to others that uh, they're more intellectually enlightened than others, right? Like you'll say something like, "This is the reason Trump got elected," right? And then while and the reason really, it's really much simpler, and they'll go on like 30-minute rant of like everything beginning to end. When in reality, it's not that, right? It's more, hey, um, it's a very simple reason. It's usually the right answer is the more simple reason. So yeah, Occam's razor is very, very interesting in that it unloads kind of like a lot of anxiety and thinking and time onto like a simple pragmatic approach to a problem, right? And that's basically a lot of what the red pill and dating um realities are today, where a lot of guys are trying to over intellectualize the red pill, over intellectualize dating. And there's charts and data that say like the lower IQ people are the ones getting laid the most, right? And that's probably because of that, because they just don't overthink it. They see a hot chick in front of them. They don't um they don't really think too much about, hey, what if she says this? What if she says that? They just bumble through some words, and eventually some girl somewhere is gonna be like, this guy's kind of bold. It's gonna say yes, right? So Occam's razor is very good. More importantly, into analyzing your own life and where you stand with women and the women in your life, right? And I want to bring up this example on Twitter. You guys give me a second. Um, and this is what we'll be reacting to, right? And I don't like using my own followers as examples. But the thing is, it's just too good of an example. So this gentleman, let me pull it up here. Share screen. There we go. Make sure my chats are closed. Um, there we go. Uh, all right, turn off audio. Okay, sweet. So we have here Robert Malka. I think he's a follower of mine, or maybe I don't know. I've seen him around. And I'm not gonna read this out to you guys and waste you guys' time, right? But the basically the show, basically he's trying to explain like a story or accounts of his mother, right? I'm assuming that his father wasn't in the picture growing up because she's talking about like how she dated billionaires um and just treated them in a certain way where it made it pretty obvious that she was not interested in their money or anything that the beta side of hypergamy or anything like that. Instead, she would just toy around with these billionaires, right? And there's a couple lessons in there, of course. And then on top of that, he's trying to romanticize certain like aspects of female nature, especially women that are tend to be more delusional in their quest for love and all that stuff, right? And then at the bottom, the kicker is that you know I watch good men. There's this isn't about self improvement. It's about feeling an overwhelming desire. Blah blah blah. Mothers never found that man. I watched a good man get steamrolled by personality. I don't think many men have met such women. They forgot how to and there's this basically the post is trying to this is better. The post is trying to make something that of a phenomena that all of us are aware of, right? All of us have seen, whether in our own lives, with ourselves, or with other people on the news. Celebrities, pseudo celebrities, internet celebrities. We're all going through this kind of change of the dating market, whereas women are playing for keeps, right? About they don't really care about your money, right? And this gentleman is trying to romanticize that beyond belief. It's crazy, and a lot of people are just like, well, okay, well, um, why is this woman so special? What like it, and the reason she's special is because it's his mom, right? He has his mom on a pedestal. He's trying to rationalize the fact that his mom is a normal woman who is, uh, does what every woman does in today's society, which is guys that lead with money, guys that lead with comfort, the matching pajamas at Christmas type of guy, right? Gets steamrolled, right? That's normal. Like no guy is like, yeah, that's crazy. No, every guy's like, yeah, if you're a good guy, if you're a nice guy, you're going to get steamrolled by women, especially attractive women, right? And then at the end, it's a worthy chase, right? And the thing is, what we're trying to rationalize here in this story, right? He could say like, oh, this poetic explanation about intersexual dynamics and women's behavior. When it realized we could use Occam's razor and we could basically say, hey, your mom got alpha widowed, right? Your mom is an alpha widow, and she probably couldn't lock down your dad, or she couldn't lock down somebody in her past, and now she's making all these beta dudes pay for it, right? Um, and they say, but a worthy chase, it's basically you're simping for your mom, right? Like there is nothing special about the situation. This is normal. This is the normal everyday life of women and men, where men that lead with expensive dinners and on a higher, and if you scale it to like Concorde tickets, right, which I imagine back in the day before they got discontinued, that plane, were probably incredibly expensive, right? Getting absolutely embarrassed and toyed with these women. That happens all the time. That's literally the status quo right now. That is normal. We see it every day in popular media, in our daily lives, and even here in the abstract on the internet. And yet, you know, we there are people, men, that try to make these situations more than they are, trying to romanticize it, right? When guys go on the internet and when guys go on the internet and they go to uh, report their problems, right? Or guys in my like friends and family of my own life, they come to report their problems and they say women are like this, like that. Women have treated me terrible. This woman's this, this woman's that. And we always start with like, okay, what are you doing? Like, what did you do? Well, I gave her, uh, I went on a dinner date with her. I'm like, okay, well, you don't go on dinner dates with women that you don't know. You don't reward women just for nothing, right? They're like, no, but like back in the day, I would get women on dinner dates and get laid a lot, right? It's never about them. It's never that it's their fault. It's always some complicated, convoluted reason that the laws of physics and biology don't apply to them. They're just that special. And this is what we're seeing here, right? Always try to apply Occam's razor to your own life, to your own girl problems, right? Um, and you will see that you'll cut through the bullshit and you can get to your problem, to solve your problem faster. You're not special, right? And I know, especially to the millennials, that's very like it's hard to listen to hear that you're not that special. You ain't shit, and that's to the average person, especially mired in therapy language and therapy speak. That's a tough. That's almost like a threatening phrase to tell somebody, right? But if you sit down and you think, okay, what does not being special mean? Not being special means that you are a just like everybody else in a sense, right? You all have your own unique thoughts, right? You have agency, you have free will, but in terms of your behaviors, they're all downstream of your biology, right? You like hot chicks just like every other guy. But You like hot chicks, but the chicks that are in your own world that you see on a daily basis that are available to you, those are the ones you're gonna prefer, right? No, men don't really have much preferences when it comes to women. They'll discuss it on the internet, right? There's women that absolutely we cannot date. I get that, right? But when it comes down to it, if every single girl in this country got tattoos, a chest tattoo, we would all be like, "Hey, I like girls with chest tattoos," because that's how men think. Occam's razor. It's not that um, your situation is special or it's complex. It's simply that A happened and B was a result, and that's it. And once you start applying Occam's razor to your own life, you start being able to see the problem, and the problem is usually you, right? Now, there are parts of dating where it's not your fault, like the rejection thing, right? Yes, you could have said something dumb. Yes, you could have done something. But for the most part, rejection usually isn't about you. And that's the part of that people have trouble because they need a reason for rejection. But conversely, when it comes to their overall dating problems and where they stand with women and or a single woman in their life, right? Um, it's always no, it doesn't apply to me. I'm different. This is the situation. I always cut through the bullshit and say, hey, dude, you did this. You took a girl on an expensive dinner. She didn't she didn't call you back, or she's making you wait 3 or 4 or 5 days, right? You have shown her that you are just like every other non-special guy out there. It's that. He's like, "No, but yeah," and I'm like, "No." Occam's razor again. A happened, B was a result. It's always much more simple than you think when it's your girl problems. So when you guys are out there speaking um to women and with women and interfacing them, right? And you have a little bit problems. You don't understand why certain girls act a certain way around you. You don't understand why your own mother, like we're seeing this an example, right? Your own mother or something like that doesn't really you see her as something special, like, oh no, my mother was different. My mother was out there, like she doesn't the red pill or intersectional dynamics doesn't apply or something, blah blah blah. And I'm like, yes, it does, dude. It's incredibly obvious, right? But you've deluded yourself into thinking, hey, my mother's a special case because she's so awesome. She's my mom. I'm like, no, this is very obvious. This is something we've talked about for decades. I read about this when I was in 2013, like 12, 13 years ago, right? So um, this is an incredibly good tool for looking inward to solving problems, right? Now, is it always intelligent to use Occam's razor? No. I mean, um, there's going to be a lot of like situations where things are much more complicated than you think, right? But about 50% of the time, right? Um, I'm wrong. It's something more complicated. There's an extra piece to the puzzle, right? But when you first tackling a large, complex kind of situation like your reproductive problem, right? Always start simple. I'm not getting laid. And that's why we say, hey, I'm not getting laid. When was the last time you approached a woman anywhere? Like with the intent of getting her number, seeing her later, right? Occam's razor. It's not that you're some special guy and women are in some kind of like Legion of Doom meeting under a swamp trying to plot your insult up, right? It's that you haven't answered because it makes them less special. It makes them seem like they're not that special and that the problems that they have, everyone has. And that if you're not around women, then you will not get laid. Simple as that. It's not that hard, right? Um, And as time goes on, Occam's razor will hurt you, like your ego. And sometimes it could help you too, right? Like for the dating apps. Dating apps, very saturated by men. And a lot of men are like, I'm not attractive enough for dating apps. I put in the effort, I got, the good pictures, but I just don't get a lot of matches. Right. But then, you could say, hey, women are just, again, plotting or I'm just being pushed out. There's a the space goblins or the lizard people or NWO, whatever, are coming to make sure I don't have a family in the future. Or it's, hey, the app is absolutely flooded with 80%, it is 80% men and rising, and only 20% women, meaning that you're not women, you don't, a lot of women don't have eyes on you on that app, right? So instead of treating it like the only link you have to have a family in the future, you know, it's a fishing rod, right? You set it, and then whenever something pulls, you check, and then you you do what you do, but you're not constantly sitting into the rod, casting it and casting it and casting it, right? You may change the location of the boat, maybe to a better fishing hole, but that's it. That's all you can do. It's dating apps have changed, right? All the ugly, all the ugly, unattractive people, both inside and out, the lazy people, both men and women, have moved to the app. And to get through all those filters of people that are unattractive and low effort people, right, to people that are attractive and want to meet you and actually put an honest effort into themselves into dating, right? It's going to take a while. So here you go. Now you have this fishing rod. Now you can go spear fishing, dive into the water, and while the fishing rod you know, is there, no reason not to have it. You're out there spearfishing too. You're out there meeting women and actively taking your reproductive problem and making it your problem and trying to fix it, right, with an honest effort, right? It's not that the space goblins or the lizard people don't want you to have sex, right? It's that you need to. It's simpler than you think. It always is with women. It's trust me. Um, and a lot of people hate that, right? Because they want their problems with women to be this special kind of, they're like Snowflake Syndrome, right? Like, no, I'm special. Women don't want to talk to me because there's so many problems with me. I'm like, no, dude, you have not put yourself physically in front of a woman. The laws of physics states that if you want to get laid, you have to be around women, right? And that's up to you, whether it be a run club, a salsa night, maybe you have some kind of sexual zone where you have status, whether you're in a band or something, um, or a bartender. Um, you know, figure it out, dude, because it's simpler than you think, right? Let's not start making our situations and our perspectives with women more complicated than they are, right? And a good exercise you can do, guys, with the Occam's razor is look back at your past relationships. Men, we tend to romanticize our past relationships until like years later, where we finally get a new girlfriend, or you know, we mature up or something. Look at your past relationships, and you may think, "Oh, my girl was a bitch. She's just an evil person," right? But then look, hey, were you fat? Yeah. Were you like not? Were you also not ambitious or trying to improve as a man? Yeah. Well, like to a woman, right? Men that she got with, you forced her to have sex with a beta dude, right? Of course, she's gonna be bitchy and angry, right? Obviously, women have agency, and she probably did a lot of stuff too that ruined the relationship. But the truth is, like, you can't blame women all the time, 24/7, for every single thing that's wrong in your dating life, right? You have things to, and thank God, because now you know what you can change, right? You got jacked, you learn a little bit of game, you understand that women need to be constantly checking, hey, is this the right guy for me, right? And you have to answer that question through your own ambition and high standards for yourself. So Occam's razor applies here, because instead of saying, like, we're discussing all these levels of society-wide events that change the game, like, oh, feminism. And it's not feminism, dude. It's just that um, things have changed, and technology was introduced, right? Change the game, and you need to adapt. And it's going to be a little painful at first until you check your ego at the door and move on to something, to a mental model that actually gets you laid, which is like, hey, women will do this. If A is applied, women will do this. And that's it, right? Occam's razor is great for self-assessing. So exercise it. You look at your past relationships, your past failures with women, and also look at your past wins with women, right? A lot of you guys probably got a really hot chick. I've gotten some hot chicks where I'm just like, holy shit, like, like, as confident as I am, there are times where, like, most of the time in my life, the most attractive women were like the easiest, right? And you have to look. um, you have to look at this and you can lie to yourself and say, "No, it was just luck. I was the right place, the right time." Yeah, of course, right place, right time. That could have something to do with it. But look and analyze, and it's not like you got lucky, like this magic force of luck, right? What most likely happened was that that night you were exuding confidence. That night you were incredibly horny and unapologetic, right? You were touching her in a certain way. These things that you didn't think about in the moment because she had a nice rack or something. Um, and these are all probablys, right? But maybe you can draw something from that. Maybe you can use Occam's razor. It's like, no, it's not that I got lucky or the gods smiled upon me, or I had uh nice shoes on, or nice suit and I smelled good. You know what it was? You literally just said, "Hey, want to come back to my place?" Boom. That's it. That's all it was. You popped the question faster. You didn't wait, you didn't hesitate, you didn't say, "Hey, oops, let me think about some smart thing to say." You were locked in, you didn't see anyone else, you had no qualms about, what to say about this girl, right? You gave her a couple drinks, you made her laugh 2 or 3 times, and within an hour, you were like, "Let's get out of here." You kissed her on the way down the stairs, right? And on the elevator. You fucked. That was you. That was you. Occam's razor was states that you invited her back to your place in a confident way. That's it. There is no there is no 6 hours of podcasts with these, intellectuals, with hundreds of thousands of views trying to analyze everything. You fucking took action. That's Occam's razor with dating. You took action. That's it. And that is why uh a lot of guys they want to retroactively say, "Oh, it was luck." I'm like, "No, dude, you took action." That's the beauty of being a man, right? All the most attractive women in my life that I've ever slept with was simply the ego, the fear of rejection. It's like I forgot about it that night, and I just said, "You want to get out of here?" I live right there, and you look back, and you're proud. You're proud of yourself. Like I bagged this girl, but at the same time, you're just like, "Oh, I bagged this girl, but the Moldovan chick I slept with was just such super hot, like incredibly hot, like your trad man's dream, right? The Asian chick that looked like Lucy Liu, but body of a black girl. She's amazing. She looked amazing. The ex Dominican stripper, which I couldn't believe, I couldn't believe the ass to waist ratio on that one. All these beautiful women, hot women. All I did together was I acted fast. Bottle service girl last year. We're friends now, but like first night we danced, it wasn't we didn't have a lot of chemistry dancing, But I just said, "Hey, we had a drink together, and we said, 'Hey, you want to get out of here?'" She's like, "Yeah, let's go." Like didn't even skip a beat. Occam's razor. It wasn't the moon, the right position. It wasn't that you had 2 drinks exactly. It wasn't that you wore a certain pair of sneakers. You just said, "Hey, want to go back to my place?" And if she would have said no, you would have just moved on. Like, okay, well, have a nice night. But anyways, guys, that's all I have. I gotta go get a haircut. But um thanks for tuning into Nuclear Reactions, and use hookups raising in your own life to kind of have a more sober view of your own problems with women, right? So all right, talk to you guys later.